Ernie, over the last 18 to 24 months, there's been 14 players that are going to be playing today that have represented the Futsal Roos. 6 current players that were in the Trans-Tasman series, which they just wrapped up versus New Zealand. East Coast, you know a lot of those boys very well. They played for Enfield for a number of years. Who are the linchpins for this East Coast side to try to reverse the 2014 defeat?
Well, obviously, you got old heads like Peter Spaffis and Lachlan Wright, who have done it all before. They're very experienced. They've travelled. They've captained teams. They know the game inside out. They've actually played together for several seasons prior to this one. But then you got players like Chris Zabalos, Shavina Deli, Daniel Fulton, Clayton Muzumeji, and young Jordan, who just recently travelled the Australian team from East Coast. That should bring a lot of experience to this team. Very, very well structured. And we're going to get a very good game against a Jurul team that holds 7 internationals. There's 4 current players from the Futsal Roos in there, plus they've got a player that's from the New Zealand international team. Greg Giovanali at the back, but he really wants the ball. He'll dictate the play for Jurul today. It's going to be a great game. We've got a few freestylers in the East Coast game against a very very structured Jurul team.
If there is a player that's, we've mentioned some of the big names, Shavina Deli, Jordan Guerrero, Peter Spathers, Chris Zabalos, Lockie Wright, Clayton Musumechi. There is one player that's come leaps and bounds throughout the 2015 Hummel F-League season, and that's Grant Lynch. Grant Lynch has been absolutely superb for the Heat.
Yeah, I didn't mention Grant, but yes, Grant is really, he's a target up front. He's really moulded with this team. They love him in the squad, and they've looked at him, and he's been able to find the form, find the back of the net for the team. And as I said, it's all about being a squad and bringing these boys together. And Grant, in amongst these guys, doesn't lose his place. I think he's one player that will be pushing. Rob Vrilla to have a look at him definitely in the setup, the futsal setup.
Second referee Jonathan Moore, third referee Darius Turner, and timekeeper Andrew Best.
And the same can be said, Nicola, for the Jurul boys. There's 2 players that are maybe underrated. Not a lot of people might know about. Number 3, Daniel Burns, current New Zealand international, has been getting on the score sheet a number of times the last couple of games. And also Glenn Kelshaw. Glenn Kelshaw was probably the surprise pick in the recent Trans-Tasman series. But it's kick-off between East Coast. It's a repeat of the 2014 Grand Final. 2015 Men's Grand Final. It's kicked off. Warriors in possession of the ball. It's Greg Giovanali on the ball at the centre of the court for the Warriors. Ball closed down by Fulton. Pocket on to captain Greg Giovanali. Long ball. Finds Kelshaw. It's a great ball! Goal! Jurul Warriors! And the Warriors take a 1-0 lead. Long ball by Greg Giovanali to Glenn Kelshaw, who's cut it back to substitute Brendan Hoyer. And as the game moves on, is going to be really, really interesting. Because players like the Giovanali boys, they're instrumental to the team. Great chance! Great goal! Great lead-up work by Adeli. And we mentioned it early on, but it's that Chris Zabalos right foot that's caused the damage for the Heat. And we remain at 1-1. Zabalos finds Musumechi. Zabalos again. Great ball. And it's a goal. It's the East Coast team to take the lead. Great ball by Zabalos. And it's Clayton Musumechi.
Like I said earlier, Matteo, Clayton likes showing up for these big games. He seems to hide for the easier games, but when it comes to the big games, he really shows up to play. like you said earlier, Mateo, their depths, you can see looking right along their bench there, they've got a lot of depth players, a lot of experience there. So, we said it earlier, if they can... There you go.
And it's a goal for East Coast Heat. And it's two men that we've touched on, Ernie.
Beautiful header by Grant Lynch.
Chris Zabalos and Grant Lynch.
East Coast Heat 3.
Greg Juvenale, Bruno Pavato on the ball, faced by Lynch. Good turn of speed by Pavato. Pavato keeps possession of the ball to Greg Juvenale. Great strike! What an absolute cracking goal by the Futuru captain Gregory Juvenale. What a goal!
Wow, Greg, give him space, give him time, he's going to bury that ball.
The ball. 3 seconds remaining. Right, Zabalos. Collie says retake it again. Seconds remaining for East Coast. Zabalos, long ball, stays in. Starkey said it's all over.
Rules right down to the wire. In the 2015 Men's Ethleague
It's all over.
The champions are East Coast Heat.
What a great game there for the neutral. We come down to Valentine, saw a great game of futsal there. And the East Coast has turned it around from last season.